Hey everybody, clearing. Okay, this is going to be a divine feminine check-in. I was actually going to do a divine masculine check-in, and all I could think of on the shuffle was divine feminine. What does the divine feminine want at this stage of the journey, and what on the masculine side is connected to that, and advice for DMs. So thank you, Divine Creator, for using me as a channel of only the highest, most beneficial information coming through. What can we see for what the DFs want regarding all the aspects of the journey that we typically go into on the daily check-ins? What's going on for the DFs as far as what they are desiring at this time? How is that linked to what their divine masculine is experiencing, seeing happen on their side of the energy? And some advice for masculines. Last deck. Yeah, that felt good. Sometimes it's a messy shuffle, sometimes it's on it. Okay, feminines, about the connection. What are the feminines thinking about the connection? Okay, there's this hover about this new beginning. So the feminines feel like a new cycle, a new beginning, that it's inevitable that this come in. My card of the 3D, the 3 of coins in the inverse, they're picking up on things that aren't necessarily directly related to what they're seeing in the physical. But they do sense that something's got to give. It's got to be different. It can't just keep going the way it's been going. Something, I just heard, monumental is about to happen. This is based on intuition. So the feminines are feeling either something big coming or something little that's going to make big waves. What is connected to the masculines? Your destined path, masculines. So your destiny is connected to how you navigate this journey with this feminine that you are watching this for. What can we see for advice for you, masculines? Princess of Pentacles, stay present, handle things in real time. Don't hang on to the past, don't get attached to the future. Be real, be here, be now. Authenticity in the moment. Honesty with what you're picking up on, how you're being led to make your decisions. Just knowing this is all happening for a big picture reason. What are the feminines thinking about consciously regarding you, masculines, that you have all the making for absolutely everything they want in a partner, in a life partner, in a relationship, in a human being? They adore who you are. 10 of Pentacles is like everything. You check off every boxes they didn't even know they had that makes so much sense now that they've met you. All of that kind of stuff. And here's that new beginning. So what they're thinking about you is that you also know that there is a new cycle coming in, a prosperous new beginning, a beginning in the physical. Pentacles are all about, it's like 11sies, 10 and 1 are 11. Okay, that's bringing in the 11-11 union, 4 of Wands kind of energy, where they believe you're working on your finances, getting your feet under you, setting some kind of financial goals. They feel like you're taking care of that. They feel like finances or work, physical realm circumstances might have to do with what you're still learning and navigating in order to come into a sacred union. But they think that you are aware things are going this way, even if you haven't talked about that, partly because they've never met anybody who actually is their dream come true in a human form. So much so they could not have designed you, this scenario, better if they had known. They also feel like you it could go either way, that you may or may not share this same sentiment, that you may or may not be aware or awake enough about the connection to fully embrace this same shared take on it. What is happening on the masculine side? Cute. So what I got here, masculines, is you're watching your feminine know these things without you even telling them in the physical, and that you're pretty flabbergasted with how awesome they are that they can tell this. You know, it's kind of like when people don't trust each other and they ask for, like, prove the love. Do this for me. If you loved me, you would do this without me even having to ask. Those kinds of things in more karmic connections, you haven't had to ask each other those things. There's such a knowing. It's uncanny how this connection doesn't require that sort of testing in that karmic way. You're seeing your feminine knowing what their heart is telling them, even despite not having the evidence in the physical. That is pretty awesome to see them being that aware. The expression on this feminine's face is a little bit dumbfounded, like it's not adding up. They say or imply that they're not interested or they're not doing XYZ, but I feel this and this happened and they said this that time. So your feminine is putting the pieces together that you actually love them beyond anything they could ever witness. And you're not even having to tell them, you're showing them in some sort of a way that is creating a safe container. What is the advice for you beautiful masculines? Remember, everybody, I do not read these masculine energies or my feminine energies with toxic or karmic connections. These are divine connections, and it's up to you to decide what your connection is. But these counterparts that I read for don't have toxicity in the connections. Just want to say that. I heard another reader say that today, and I was really grateful that that was said out loud. And I also want to say that I do not intend to ever read toxic scenarios. So these aren't your readings if you're in a toxic relationship. These are aligned connections. Okay, advice for the masculines. Four of Cups, Lord of Blended Pleasure. This is, thinking about, it's in the inverse, thinking about ways to have win-win, to share the pleasure, to deepen pleasure together. This is a foundation in mutual pleasure. I'm getting here that the feminines could not imagine a better human to connect with, and you're watching your feminine blow your mind with how in tune and aware with the crown chakra there that they are. And that is so rare for a feminine to know and trust without having to be told, without it being explained. This is just cause for coming back around. The Four of Cups is missed opportunities from the past or things that didn't play out in the past. This is saying that there is ample opportunity, I just heard, to explore what hasn't been explored yet. The going's about to get good, masculine. So this is your advice, though, is to bring it back in, come full circle. This is a second chance, another turnaround here. So if you do see your feminine knowing this without you even having to explain yourself or prove yourself, they see you that accurately, your advice is, acknowledge that, love them. That's a huge indicator of alignment, masculines. What can we see for how the feminines are feeling on the heart space? Keeping an open mind and coming out of hermit mode. So 2 messages. They're open to whatever this connection will bring. Whether you come in or not, masculine, whether you come forward to them, they're open. And coming out of hermit mode, they're done waiting. They're not going to be waiting. Your feminine isn't holding their life back for you. That doesn't mean that they don't feel you're meant to be together. This is that they are not going to sit around waiting at home in a lower vibrational suffering. They're going to live their best life regardless, even if you're their preference and they don't find anyone better. Yeah, really interesting. It's an all in, but I'm not going to sit back and waste my life kind of energy. They trust themselves. What are the masculines navigating? Divine justice. Okay, so this really is the impeccability. You are the best one. They are the best one. You are the best one for each other, is what I'm getting from this. It's balanced. It's divinely guided, divinely aligned. It's taking us all long enough to figure this out, but we have to come to it naturally. We have to understand. It's not been rejection. It's developmental stages. What can we see for advice for you masculines? 9 of Swords. Lord of Despair and Cruelty in the inverse. So it hasn't been a trick. Your feminine loves you. Put your anxiety down. I'm getting this a lot in the private readings lately, that both counterparts have felt rejected by the other one, but neither have been rejecting the other one. And it's a shift of perception. Sometimes it can be a little bit astounding that we come across as though we're rejecting our counterpart, especially when we're so careful with what we say and do, and we're so studious to get it right. And yet the insecurities or the misconceptions still make it challenging to understand where someone's coming from. We don't want to talk down or over-explain. But sometimes we hurt each other without even meaning to. And we do things thinking that it indicates that we're more mature or balanced or loving. And sometimes those things are misguided. So masculines, really know that your divine feminine would never intentionally hurt you. And some of the things that are ironic that you would not want them to do, that they have done, really look at how those things have come to be. And be curious, is there another reason why this played out the way it did? And as difficult as it is to imagine that some of those more hurtful things could be well intended, or, trying to misguided in that they may have been trying to impress you, I'm hearing. They may have been trying to look cool in your eyes. They may have been trying to look like they had it figured out. And it could have been a mix of a few things, like a developmental stage, wounding, things you said and did. Your feminine's been trying their best. There's another message in this card that your feminine is likely also feeling like the scales have balanced, that there isn't much more that the two of you could demonstrate to each other that would need to be seen in order for it to be even Stevens. I feel like it's even Stevens here, masculines. And so possibly all the hard knocks lessons have run their course. That's kind of interesting. What can we see for how the feminines are viewing the masculines on the heart space? Oh, immediately there is some wave of recognition that you are their ultimate wish fulfillment. That 10 of Pentacles, it's like the feminines are getting this rush of confirmation that you really are. You really are, masculines, the best one that they have encountered. And not because they've had to settle for you, because you really are that great. Don't you know it, masculines? What is the masculine experiencing? Energetic green light. The chariot. This is the 5D chariot. This is where it does make sense on an energetic level. Things in the physical might not always make sense, but energetically, it's like, yeah, it definitely makes sense. It's a frequency match. I've met my match kind of energy. The Emperor, son of the morning in the inverse. Ooh. I just heard before morning, many masculines will dream of something moving forward in the dream world that they didn't quite see was available or didn't feel could happen yet, or didn't see as an angle that could happen with their feminine. So masculines, either an epiphany, something making sense, something clicking, a dream or a daydream, or that space before you fall asleep, or when you're just waking up, that liminal space where you're sort of lucid. There's some kind of a merging meeting place, the Emperor, where some sort of control energy is dropped and something is therefore seen as a potential, a possibility, a likelihood, a probability that you haven't seen yet. So stay open. Ask if there's anything that you can perceive in a way you haven't yet. Actually intend that, pray that. Ask for higher guidance with anything that you have yet to realize that is possible that you haven't seen the angle of yet. What can we see for what the feminines would like to manifest here? More communication. The feminines would like to communicate karmic things being released on their side, but they'd also like to know that karmic things have been released on your side, masculines. What are the masculines experiencing? Enlightenment, complete clarity on these karmic things, wishing to be all in, wishing to be completely ready, wishing for you, divine feminines, to be free and clear in every regard as well. What is the advice for the masculines? Ace of Swords, Lord of the root of powers of air. That's thought. So this is clarity of mind. This is enlightened thinking. Potentiality rather than limitation. It stands to reason that as the energy's clear and karma is overcome, that it would be more relevant to see the possibilities available to us all. So masculines, stay open to that. Just because you haven't seen those potentials yet doesn't mean that you won't. It means that it wasn't time yet. What can we see for what actions the feminines are wanting to take? The Tower and the King of Wands, divine masculine in the inverse. So the actions the feminines want to take, they just want to draw the line in the sand and not chase, not stress, not worry, not cause any damage, not feel any heartache. The feminines just want to end anything that's not life affirming in the connections and in their lives. And they also pray that, wish that for you, masculines. What are the masculines dealing with? Letting go of abandonment wound, letting go of misconceptions, letting go of rock bottom energy, letting go of feeling like you've missed out on love, feeling forsaken, feeling abandoned, rejected, disintegration. This card is the one card that feels like curled up in a fetal position crying in your bed. Masculines want to come through that and let that go. There is a radical, I'll do whatever it takes kind of energy here. So the feminines are willing to stop all the patterns that have not resulted in productivity or union. And masculines, you're willing to get out of your stubborn pride and ego and ask for higher guidance, ask for this truth in how to have openness to love. What is your advice? Ace of Wands. So we've got the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands, Lord of the root of the power of fire. So this is inspiration, passion, creativity. This is the scepter that this king holds. So feminines have committed internally to taking a full step back so that you can come into your own masculines, so that you can find inspiration, so that you can ignite this desire to step into leadership, to step into your highest potential, to get there, to embody a desire for your highest timelines. This is also the passion. Your feminine wants to see that spark in you where you've got to have them, where you burn with passion for them. They don't want to chase you and put out that passion and put out that fire. I was thinking about the Bible and I don't remember the verse, but I remember reading advice: don't come into a relationship unless you burn with passion. That's what's coming in. I thought of that driving today, that is biblical. And so these feminines want their masculine to burn with passion and have to have specifically them masculines. So your feminine wants to be your full choice. They want you to experience that level of desire for somebody that makes you sure you want to be with that feminine for the rest of your lives. They want that. So feminines, take note. That's what you want. That's what you want. Is you don't want to chase. You want to allow your masculine to want to have you so badly that they would do anything that can look like holding space, that can look like creating a safe container until it's appropriate timing. But that burning, yearning feeling, of course, that's not toxic. We're not talking about low vibrational pursuit of someone not interested. We're talking about these masculines who are coming into their divinity in relationship and igniting their soul and every other part of them towards their counterpart here. So yeah, the feminines are getting this, and masculines, you must be feeling this too. What is the biggest challenge for the feminines? Staying present, staying in humility, not needing to force it, not needing to convince, push, just being with it, showing up, being receptive. And the masculines, this is the emperor energy, the logic, the reason, the stability, you making the judgments, the calls, you deciding certain things here, you being this king of all kings and calling the shots for your own life and knowing when it feels aligned. True love is mutual. And so this is both coming into their own, living their own best lives, and it connecting and it aligning. What is the advice for masculines? The star. We got the star in that position for the feminines in the inverse. So there's an immediate awareness available. I'm seeing that this is some truths illuminating and passion sparking up, and your competency to bring yourself out of rock bottom and forsaken energy into being proactive in your life, masculines. What is the solution to this challenge that the feminines are meant to just sort of stay the course in presence, doing what you're doing right now, feminines? Open your heart and know that your masculine is not gone. Even though there's spaciousness, separation is an illusion. Open your heart, trust in the process, feminines. What can we see for what the masculines are? Here's the passion. So this is also the solar plexus, the confidence, this solar chakra lit. That's the sun. We saw the sun energy. This is the competency, the empowerment, the knowing, the passion burning. Like this is the energy of the masculine knowing who their feminine is. I'm going to make you mine. You have no idea, I just heard. You have no idea what you're in store for. And I also heard you have no idea what our sex life is going to be like. Oh my gosh, masculines. Queen of Pentacles, this is the advice. Really look at your feminine here. Queen of Pentacles, that's the wifey card. It's in the inverse. So really take to heart the qualities of a life partner, wifey energy for you masculines. Really take that to heart and see what you're being given here. You know, a lot of people want to be in a partnership, but you're being given access to a divine feminine. And that, let that sink in, is what I'm hearing, masculines. Do you know how much love a divine feminine can actually give you? You are so lucky and so blessed that you get to be graced with a divine feminine, you beautiful masculines. There is nothing you cannot manifest if you have manifested that level of love into your reality, masculines. And the two together, exponential blessing into the world. Unconditionally. So beautiful. What can we see for the near future? Ooh, it's sinking in for both the feminines and the masculines who the Empress is. So divine feminines, you're going to be getting some divine intel and some reality checks at how extraordinary you are. You are not up in ego. You are some of the most beautiful, the most humble, the most glorious creatures on the planet, because your souls are so beautiful. And you're going to find support, energetic support for that truth. You are so much more than flesh. You are so much more than your physical feminines. You are so exquisite feminines. There is no third party situation or competitive energy that can compare whatsoever. You know your worth. You're knowing your worth more than anything. It's going to be sinking in. And masculines, something is showing you that your feminine is unique, extraordinary, so mature, so wise, so spiritually aware. And this is something that you are having illuminated on your third eye, because you are those things, masculines. You and your feminine are perfectly matched with your ability to read energy, to see things in such ascended terms. This is the one that gets it on the level that you've all your life seen, but not had very many people to collaborate or talk about certain things with, and you felt so lonely. And like the black sheep of the family or your social group, something like that. This is the vindication. I'm seeing this little white lamb here. And you seeing, it's almost like the ugly duckling story. There's some redemption coming in, that the way you used to feel outcast has been pure and sweet all along. And that you've finally seen a feminine that can match you in your higher potential. Doesn't mean you've always acted and behaved perfectly. We know. And so the feminines also know their folly. But masculines, you're remembering it. You're coming back into this righteousness, this purity, this self-love that sees that your feminine is an awesome being. Wow, both counterparts are recognizing this, and that means that both are of that energy in order to do it. What are the masculines dealing with? Strength. Okay, we got the strength for the feminines in the inverse, And that's a yin-yang energy. Masculines, it's time to be empowered and to understand it's not in your head that this feminine is so compatible and perfectly made for you, perfectly matched. What is the advice? The Empress. The Empress, this yin-yang. It takes one to know one. Not that you're an empress, but you're of that compatible like energy, masculines, where you can where you can actually connect with this person because you have become what they need. Feminines, these masculines have been putting in a lot of work to align with what you've inspired them to align with. Let's get a card for the feminines. Perseverance. I know that I can do whatever I set my mind to. Very beautiful. So feminines, stay with it. This is saying you are manifesting this union. And masculines, what is with my hair today? How is it so big? Okay, masculines, peace. It came out in the inverse. So the only way you're going to have peace, masculines, is to come towards your Empress. And it's not a moment too soon because they are in perseverance mode. They're staying the course with their manifestation. I'm a being of love and I release all negative energy. So it's time to release all your negative energy, masculines, internally, externally, and to just, manifest this Sri Yantra motif. This is the Om, the portal of manifestation. So allow it to come through you. Allow your life to be guided on these higher levels, masculines, and come into it. Okay, many blessings. Bye for now.